Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, man. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, night, week, evening, afternoon, lunch break, whatever it might be, whenever your ears get to listen to my mouth just get to flapping, Jack. Yeah, hope you guys are having a fantastic day, just period, just overall day. It is the day before Thanksgiving, and I hope that you guys have a good Thanksgiving tomorrow and a safe Black Friday if you guys are going to go out shopping on Friday to get all your luxurious deals. A couple things down in the description below. Every single week, I want you guys to check out. We got robotrecruits.co.uk for all your giant robot needs. He ships to the U.S. So if you guys are possibly tired of the same old, go check out robotrecruits.co.uk and see if he's got anything that you might like. Also, my shop at midnight down in the description has you covered figuratively and literally for all your Generation X, the Pepsi generation, all your needs, man. And the most important thing down in the description below is the National Suicide Help Hotline. If you guys need it for any reason, man, look, if you just need somebody to talk to, or if you think you might know somebody who needs it, pass it along or use it yourself. I put it there every single week, man, for you guys to use if you need it. That's the most important thing down in the description below. Today will probably be a little bit of a chill stream, man. I am super tired. I have not slept worth a damn in the last couple of days. It's been very early mornings of me getting up. And but yeah, so I'm gonna try and be as high energy as I possibly can, but bear with me, man, through this live stream. I'm gonna get caught up on chat, man. I see you guys already doing what you do best, and that's share your opinions, and I love it. Rachel, what's up, Rachel? Hope you're doing all right. She says, if Hasbro has been sued, does that mean Chris Cox resigns? We'll get to that. He's not resigning, unfortunately. Rachel also says, I know this is a stretch, but are they being sued by the guy who had the Pinkerton sent to this front door? No. That would have been the time to sue him right there and then. You know what? I don't understand why he didn't. Like, legitimately, I would have sued the ever-loving crap out of him, man. Like, and then they probably would have tried to settle out of court, and I'd have been like, nah, big dog, we going all the way. This is prom night, and I bought the hotel room. You know what I'm saying? We're going all the way with this one. Blue Coon, dude, what's up, man? Hope you're doing all right. He says, Eternal Dragon inputs, by your name, I summon you. He also says, Chris Cox shouldn't have been Hasbro CEO to begin with. 100% agree with you on that one. Do you guys remember when everybody was like defending him? Like he hadn't even started, but everybody was like, give him a chance, guys. He might actually work out. But all you had to do was like move over to Wizards of the Coast and see what he did over at Wizards, or what he didn't do. Essentially what he's doing at Hasbro, right? Like, no, he didn't deserve a chance to begin with. Rachel says, okay, doing some research. They've been sued for lying to investors and lying about quality of product. Yeah, boy. Rachel also says, also off topic, since Google is being forced to sell Chrome due to a monopoly, why aren't Hasbro being forced to sell off, say, Kenner or Tonka? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Truthfully, because Hasbro's not a monopoly, you still have things like Mattel, you still have things like Jada Toys, you still have things, I mean, like Lego, right? Hasbro has not, although they have tried to buy Mattel a few times and vice versa. They have not been able to position themselves to be the toy company the way Google has been able to position itself to be the internet, right? So that's pretty much the main, main breakdown of that one. MC DJ's in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're doing all right. Blue Coon says next Wednesday, remember Dreadwing, remember the fallen, remember the late Tony Todd. Next week is Tony Todd's birthday. Yes. Zihara Smith's in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're doing all right. Blue Raccoon says, input, when you got Clock, I made the commercial playlist. It's input to use next week. All right. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Blue. Oh, okay. Oracle from the other room just said that you have a playlist for me of commercials. I got you. Okay, I understand. I'm tired, man. Bear with me. Rachel says Hasbro probably couldn't even call Saul to win this lawsuit at this point. What's up, Big M? Hope you're doing all right, man. Princeton in the house. What's up, dude? And Princeton says Hasbro's not a monopoly. What? They own Monopoly. Well, they sure as hell act like the Monopoly guy, don't they? So let's get into this lawsuit, man. And this is what's really crazy. Before we're gonna read the title. Hasbro sued in investor suit for allegedly lying about over-purchased inventory after pandemic demand. A lot of these companies, man, this goes for a lot of companies in the US. I don't know about the rest of the world because I don't live in the rest of the world, right? So, but a lot of companies thought that the COVID demand was here to stay. And all of us, a good majority of us, some of us have been telling these companies, nah, dog, it is not going to be like that, right? Like we have, said things about the higher pricing increase and how they're running their operations and stuff. And now they're seeing less and less and less and less and less sales of their product because of their corporate greed and them not understanding basically what happened during COVID. Let's see. We'll read this. A self-described, quote, investor rights law firm, end quote, filed a lawsuit Wednesday alleging that Hasbro, the tabletop gaming and toy company, misrepresented its excessive inventory to investors, something the firm says is a violation of federal security laws. Polygon reached out to Hasbro for a comment and has yet to hear back. Bernstein, Leitowitz, and Berger, and Grossman. Okay, that's a mouthful. The law firm filed a complaint in a New York court on behalf of the West Palm Beach Firefighters Pension Fund, asking the court to grant the case class action status, meaning other investors and stock purchasers can participate. Hasbro, like other gaming companies, saw a boost in interest in sales during the pandemic when people were looking for things to do in their homes. Games were an obvious choice. The lawsuit alleges Hasbro's purchased inventory to meet that demand, but ended up buying too much. Hasbro allegedly told investors the high purchasing was necessary to quote, mitigate supply chain and risk and meet consumer demand, end quote, ahead of the 2022 holiday season, according to the lawsuit. When that inventory set, Hasbro said the stock, quote, reflected outstanding and anticipated demand, end quote, and not a decreased demand. The lawsuit alleges Hasbro was intentionally misleading investors and knew it. Quote, overpriced inventory to an extent that significantly outpaced consumer demand, end quote. The timeline makes sense. 2022 is when the world started opening up more broadly and people were eager to get out of their houses. Continue reading. Hasbro announced in 2023 in a preview of its 2022 financial report that the revenue was down due to poor sales in the toy market. To mitigate that loss, it laid off 15% of its staff, which is around 1,000 people. Despite that, Hasbro allegedly continued to tell investors that it didn't have an inventory problem. In October 2022, an investor asked about Hasbro stock to which Hasbro Chief Operating Officer Gina Goetter said Hasbro was spending $50 million to move and market inventory as in quote obsolescence cost. Yeah, I butchered it. Bear with me, guys. Obsolescence cost. Which is corporate speak for outdated, devalued inventory. Because of this, especially the October 2023 financial disclosures, stock prices declined and investors lost money. The lawsuit alleges to the tune of a loss of $831 million to shareholder value. The stock value Hasbro previously had, according to the lawsuit's claim, was due to inflated prices due to the lack of disclosure. The lawsuit states that Hasbro stock is owned by, quote, hundreds or thousands, end quote, of investors who would be impacted. The law firm is asking the court for damages due to alleged violation of the Exchange and Securities Act, which requires publicly traded companies to be honest and transparent to shareholders. In its most recent earnings report filed on October 24th, Hasbro reported a 15% decline in revenue. Its inventory, according to the report, was down 39% over the last year's third quarter. Hasbro experts the company to be down 14% overall in 2024, and it should say expects, not experts, but yeah. So they're going to lose another 14% overall in 2024. So yeah, let's be real here. Like, we all saw this coming, this lawsuit. We've been talking about something like this. Not necessarily a lawsuit, but something. And by the way, if you guys are listening to this and not watching this, this was from MSN, their website. That's why I read that off of just now. So, but yeah, this is something that people like me, people like GotBot, have been questioning since roughly 2022, when they said, okay, prices are going up, and then lied to consumers on why those prices were going up. Hasbro also said at one point, when Mattel said that toy prices were going to increase, Hasbro was the first one to say no, they weren't, but they were also the first company to raise their prices. So not only were they lying to investors, they're lying to consumers, I guess to try and, wait out, like kind of wait it out a little bit and just kind of see what happened. And now we're seeing what happened, and Hasbro is seeing what happened, right? A lot of this, if you go back to their stock pricing and everything before the pandemic, a lot of stuff is basically leveling out or has leveled back out to pre-pandemic stock pricing. Hasbro, I guess, didn't really know how to deal with that, and like I said, just lied to everybody. This is a fantastic thing to happen. It's a fantastic thing to happen to consumers, or for consumers. It also kind of, the reason why it's good is because it kind of puts Hasbro, kind of gives them a shock to their system, right? Like, if they decide to settle out of court, then, they don't have to disclose how much that they settle, but they do have to disclose that it got settled out of court. But this is still a court case that gets brought against Hasbro for lying to investors, right? So in the future, if they decide to do it again, there's a precedent already set, right? For them, so they don't lie, right? So this is like a deterrent for them lying to investors. Now here's the thing too. Maybe at some point, possibly, I don't know, maybe a consumer lawsuit can be brought against Hasbro for lying to consumers about their shoddy, about the shoddy product that they'd been putting out. The QC issues, the yellowing, just there's a laundry list of all of it out there, right? From people like me who made videos on it, people like GotBot who talked about it, and that's just the Transformers side. We're not even talking about the HasLab Sentinel, whose knees didn't work. We're not even talking about the Galactus head not lighting up. That was a huge, big QC issue. So that's like the Marvel Legends side of the board, right? We're not even going to talk about all the nonsense from the Star Wars Black Series stuff and all that stuff. So this is a good thing. This is a really good thing. So I'll stay on top of this. You guys know I'll stay on top of this every time I see it. Something, if there's a new development or whatever, I'll talk about it. And so let's see. Let me get caught up on chat. Let's see what you guys think about this this lawsuit. Blue Coon says, I thought Monopoly was a game to lose friends. Rachel says, okay, I don't mean to get dark. Remember the Boeing controversy and having quote unquote accidental deaths of employees? Could we see something similar to this? No, I don't think so. I don't think that would be, I don't think this Hasbro lawsuit would be in that scale, right? She also says, Rachel also says, as in, could we see accidental deaths of the suing? Yeah, no, I don't think Hasbro, like I said, I don't think this lawsuit is that big, or could get that big. Because Boeing is massive compared to Hasbro. So yeah, that Blue Raccoon says, what games were there in 2020? Activision contracts expired in 2017 and no one knew how to play online during live. So when they say games, Hasbro's more of board games. So, Monopoly, Uno, I think, or that might be Mattel. No, that's Hasbro, right? So Uno. So basically, when you go into Target and look at the board game section, most of that is Hasbro's board games. Like things like Don't Break the Ice. I mean, Rachel says, Hasbro's news next week. Chris Cox is so desperate he becomes Walter White and sells the stuff that gets you high as a kite. Yeah. In the words of LA Knight. Yeah. Let's see. Blue Coon says, I also seen the Transformers knockoff look like Constructicons, and I've been itching to buy them so I can get a combiner. I mean, I've seen them at Ross, dude, and they're like $8 for, like old leader scale toys, man. So, hey, if you want to get them, I wouldn't blame you for $8. Why not, right? Rachel says, what about forcing all companies to be open to consumers? See, that I agree with, 100% agree with, because they should not be beholden to their shareholders, right? Because no company should. They should be beholden to the consumer. The unfortunate thing is, like, here in the U.S., we have consumer rights out the yin yang here, right? Like, tons of it, but nobody really wants to use it. It's really weird. Like back in the 50s, the 60s, 70s, even the 80s, right? Like people would start to throw, a bit of a fit into the 90s as well, right? Like if something broke or it wasn't right or whatever, we, take it back, no problem, no questions asked. If there was a problem, man, people be up in an uproar, marching up and down the street, picket signs, right? Burning down mattress stores, like all kinds of stuff. It'd be wild. And then that started to slowly kind of like peter off, right? So those rights are still there, but we just like, it's up to us to use them and enforce them against these companies. But I do agree with what you're saying. 100% should be open to consumers, not the shareholders. Rachel says they use quote unquote COVID as an excuse. Then quote unquote, we can't ship to Russia. That's why prices are going up now. The price of oil and engineering is all an excuse. Okay, so I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna break this down for everyone who's listening. They use COVID as an excuse. That's why prices went up, right? Okay, and everyone kind of went with it. There was some pushback there, but people kind of went with it. And then we can't ship to Russia because the whole thing with Russia and the Ukraine, or I won't say Russia and the Ukraine, because Russia started a war with the Ukraine. Everybody was like, oh, well, yeah, hey, Russia did what Russia did, so prices are going up. And everyone called bullshit on that. And then they had the what was it? The shipping container sink, right, in the Pacific, and they used that as an excuse. Oh, Canada can't get their Amazon exclusives. Why? We had a ship container sink. And then, as rumor has it, like the shipping container didn't sink. There was no shipping container, right? Um, so now, like that's a whole argument. Was there a shipping container? Was there not a shipping container? Yeah, like every step of the way, Hasbro had a price increase, I believe 3 times in 1 year, right? Which was absurd. Their Transformers went from $20 to $22, to 24, $25, right? Something like it was just it was nuts. But I will say this too, is that they always hide price increases in plain sight. They always have, they always will. You guys just got to watch out for them. A good example is when they did a Marvel Legends, they did a 2-pack with 70s like Retro Storm and was it the T-Hawk, not T-Hawk. Oh man, the Apache or whatever his name is from the X-Men, right? It's not Pat. What is it? The guy in the red suit, right? Anyway, there was a 2-pack with that. If you broke that cost down, there's $25 for each figure, and that 2-pack was $50, right? And people still bought that 2-pack. So like they hide it in plain sight. They test you to see if you're willing to pay that extra amount, and then they come up with an excuse when they decide to, raise the cost on it. And then whatever they might, whatever that excuse might be. Blue Coon says, so basically, and I'm not trying to spoil, but I see Cox as Transformers 1 Sentinel now, who's going to be D and O. Rachel says, John Warden as O and Input as D. I don't know. Okay. I'm okay. Rachel's casting me in a movie. I'm cool with it. Big M says, HasLab Giant Man are all missing the normal straightforward eyes and fingers tend to break when bent. Yes, there's another one. Thank you, Big M. Yeah, Giant Man can't look straight. That is ridiculous. I did see somebody review his Giant Man. It was like the index finger at the middle joint was bent. Like the joint itself was bent, so he couldn't bend the finger at the middle joint. Yeah. Oh man, it's so ridiculous. Blue Coon says Mattel owns Uno. Okay. Rachel says, we gonna talk about Hasbro no longer financially funding Transformers films? Yes, we're talking about that today too. We're gonna get into that right after I get through chat. Earthman Bricks in the house, dude. What's up, man? He says consumers are considered to be called stakeholders, not shareholders, and are part of the consideration of the company, albeit in a corporate toxic way. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Rachel says next thing we know, Hasbro will have cars and TVs. Remember, he says they're buying up Jaguar cars most likely. Yeah, and then they'll all be terribly made, horribly made. Was it Ford owned Jaguar for a while? I don't see nobody's going after those Ford era ones, right? MC DJ says it's all smoke and mirrors. Yes, absolutely. Rachel says then Hasbro merges with Disney. Don't put that curse on me, Ricky Bobby. Blue Coon, let's hope this holiday won't go as Jingle All the Way Chaos. I just watched that the other night, dude. Love that movie so much. Put that cookie down now. Rachel says, then Chris Cox find a way to get immortally unfreezes Walt Disney's body and rule the world together. Don't they have to find the jar that his brain is in as well? Earthman Brick says, it's sad that Hasbro is axing their movie division, although it could be a blessing in disguise. It could mean that they'll be more likely to lease out their licenses to directors and creators. That is a very good silver lining in what they're doing. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll definitely talk about it. Blue Raccoon says, if Hasbro will be selling houses, they'll need to buy Barbie to make a dream house. So let's let me find the Hasbro stop financing movie products. Okay. Bloomberg is a paywall, so I'm going to be reading this off of TFW 2005. And Chris Cox's picture circa 2005. If that's not from 2005, dude needs to update his haircut. Speaking to Bloomberg, Hasbro CEO Chris Cox states that the toy giant will stop co-financing movie projects. Mr. Cox is leading the company through a challenging transition. A transition, mind you, a challenging transition that he put the company into. Focusing on video games and digital entertainment to offset declining toy sales and underperforming movie ventures. Okay, so the toy sales are declining because it's overpriced, easily breakable garbage. Okay, and underperforming movie ventures because your movies suck. Okay, make better movies. It's really that simple, right? Like, when people started seeing the trailer for Snake Eyes and they didn't like what they saw or anything about it, maybe pull an audible and shift gears or whatever. A gamer at heart. Oh, is he really? Okay. Chris Cox joined Hasbro in 2016, overseeing the rapid growth of Wizards of the Coast division, which produces Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. Gamer at heart, right? Okay. Yeah, I could be here for about an hour on why that's bullshit. The company highlights that Transformer 1 underperformed financially. Yeah, because the trailer made it look like a Marvel movie. If you guys go back to my live when I saw the trailer and I did my live reaction to that trailer, I said that it looked like a Marvel movie, and I was kind of 50-50 on watching the movie from that first trailer. A lot of people, if that first trailer does not get them hyped for a movie, will not watch any more trailers, right? Like, they will not. They lose all interest right there and then. So, yeah, maybe make your trailer be more concise to what the movie actually is about. Under his leadership, Hasbro is investing heavily in gaming, including licensing hits like Monopoly Go and Baldur's Gate 3, as well as developing new projects like a G.I. Joe action-adventure game and a digital Magic the Gathering Commander format. Despite the competitive video game market and recent project cancellations, Hasbro aims to release 1 to 2 new video games annually by 2026. Mr. Cox is also expanding Magic the Gathering crossover sets featuring Lord of the Rings and Marvel characters, drawing new players while sparking fan debates. Hasbro, yeah, sparking fan debate. That's a nice way to put that Magic the Gathering fans don't want their shit to be tainted. Hasbro's focus on digital collectability and broader gameplay reflects its effort to adapt to a shifting consumer preferences. As new CEO puts it, Hasbro's future lies in leveraging its iconic brands through innovative play. You guys can read the full article behind Bloomberg's paywall. Yeah, let's talk about as the new CEO puts it, Hasbro's future lies in leveraging its iconic brands through innovative play. So basically, pass the buck to somebody else on whether or not the movie or show or cartoon or whatever it is actually works or actually makes money or is financially feasible. And so basically, you have to pay Hasbro to make a Transformers video game, and then they go off and make a video game, and Hasbro has their $1.5 million that they charged Activision or EA or whoever paid that $1.5 million or whatever the amount would be. And Hasbro's got that money. Now it's up to, the other company to sink or swim. Here's the thing, though. It doesn't matter if that brand is passed around through other people. If the brand ends up getting damaged because other people have their fingers in it, then the brand gets damaged. It doesn't matter who's essentially using that brand or paying for that brand or whatever the case may be. If at the end of the day, the end product is a terrible product, it damages the brand. Case in point, when we talk about the War for Cybertron games, right? Everybody loves the 2 games. They don't love the third one. The third one was an atrocious, asset reusing monstrosity, right? Nobody talks about the third one because it damaged the reputation of those games for a very, very, very long time. So much. I mean, there's too many plot holes to list in that story. But yeah, that's a very damaging brand. G.I. Joe, I would argue, right now is damaged. Yeah, the toys are selling great. The classified line is selling great. Their HasLabs are, blowing it out of the water with their vehicles and stuff. But I don't really think anybody really wants to sit down and watch a G.I. Joe movie because all of the G.I. Joe movies just were either bad or underperformed or nobody cared, or they took really, really, really iconic characters and completely shifted, what they were or whatever. So in that regard, that's already damaged. Transformers as a movie license is damaged because Transformers 1 underperformed, right? He openly admits it here. Underperformed financially. Well, that's a damaged brand, right? So now you're basically asking somebody else to build your brand back up. Now there is a good way, a silver lining in somebody else doing that, right? This is Hasbro basically saying like, hey man, look, we're out of ideas. Somebody come take this from us, please. They did it already with Power Rangers. All right, man, if it wasn't Mighty Morphin, they didn't know what to do with it, right? Like, at all. Okay. How many Mighty Morphin everything got put out there? The entire team, Rita, Zed, Goldar, Finster, the eyeball monster, right? All these monsters got made, all this stuff. And now they license it out to Super 7. They advertise it for Super 7. And this is where the parasitic relationship really starts to show how it's a good thing. Whether you like to admit it or whether you like the company or not, you have to admit that their advertisement, Hasbro's advertisement, the funds that they have to advertise is way, way more than Super 7 could ever possibly imagine, right? So if it's a good enough product, not only does it raise the brand up, it also raises up Super 7. And I'm using Super 7 as an example because they have the Power Rangers license. By no means am I defending Super 7 right now. By no means at all. Okay. But it also raises up, it'll raise up Super 7 in that regard as well. If the product is good, if the product is bad, here's the flip side. It not only drags down the brand, it drags down Hasbro, and it drags down Super 7 as well. Yeah. Look, if this works out, it works out, and it works out great. Fans do the best work if you are a fan of the franchise. If you are not, then all this could just end up being cash grabs by other companies. Here's the other thing, too. We could see crossovers of crazy, crazy different things. Okay, this opens up the possibility of having a He-Man Transformers crossover, right? This opens up, like, anything that Hasbro owns, another company could come in and put whatever they want, like that they might own with it. Now, Hasbro will most likely have to agree or disagree to that, but it opens up the conversation for that stuff. So there is a little bit of silver lining here in what Chris Cox is saying. But yeah, most of it, I will say, is just a lot of rainy cloud nonsense. I will say that. So let's get caught up on chat and see what you guys are talking about, seeing what you guys are saying about this. Let's see. Oh man, I'm trying to find where I left off. Rachel says, whoever did the marketing for Transformers 1 should be fired. I agree. That movie cost a lot of money. A lot of money to produce. And here's the thing too, the Transformers the franchise has been on the decline since the last night. Last night was god awful. And this is what happens when a company kind of rests on laurels for their franchises to succeed. They're like, okay, well, hey, it's last night. People will watch it, whatever. And they did. And then everything after last night suffered because of the last night. Bumblebee did great. Didn't do as good as last night. At least I don't think it did. Okay. Then a sequel comes out, 5-6 years later, underperforms because a lot of people sat and thought about Bumblebee, and there's a lot of questions got brought up with Bumblebee. Is it a reboot? Is it a prequel? Is it this? Is it that? Ask certain people. All the live action movies are in the same universe, right? So it's been on a decline, and with Transformers 1 going back to an animated movie that appealed to G1ers, right? Really possibly wasn't the best idea, or at least if it was the best idea, it was, like Rachel said, absolutely horrifically marketed. And I agree, the marketing team should be fired for that. Blue Raccoon says, here's a bright idea. Fire Lorenzo from Hollywood. Get a fan consultant, fan fiction writers that know franchise since 84 and learn from mistakes and get the product rolling out to theaters. Yeah, I definitely do agree with that because, like I said, fans do the best work. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, you can take these old characters and inject fresh ideas with them. You don't have to be loyal to like what G1 was, or Beast Wars or Armada or anything like that, right? But just inject the new fresh ideas with them. Rachel says, oh yeah, focusing on gaming. What happened to reactivate? Oh, Rachel coming in with a kill shot with that one. Oracle says, movie marketing in general has been terrible. I've seen more commercials for Wicked than any other movie this year. And to double down on what she's saying here, Wicked is a musical. They're not advertising it as such. Earthman Brick says they also showcased G.I. Joe beat 'em up game during their last series of Hasbro Pulses. Looked generic, not bad though, but the promo was ass. Oh, dude, yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it looked like a Streets of Rage clone. It really did. But like you said, looked generic, but not bad. When you go back into the 90s and you see how many beat 'em ups there were, and they all pretty much looked the same, but they were all fun. So yeah, we'll have to see how that G.I. Joe game plays out. Princess says, the only toy company that Chris Cox should be running is Adam and Eve. Princess. Oh man, dude, I would pin that if that was a comment. That's beautiful, Preston. Rachel says they're gonna not do a Transformers G.I. Joe crossover game. Get people hyped for that movie. What I want them to do as a game, I want Devastation 2. I am so tired of Hasbro ending stuff on a cliffhanger and not finishing anything. G1, not finished. at all, right? If you go to the BotCon, if you go all the way up to Beast Machines and then go into the BotCon 3H comics and all that stuff, that only had 3 issues. Boom, G1 never finished, right? IDW 1.0 got finished. I don't think 2.0 got finished. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, for the most part, none of it really gets done. Like, none of it really gets finished. Rachel says, question, is High Moon still around? I don't think they are. I think they got, what, they bought out by like EA, or not EA, Activision, and then like dissolved or something. I don't remember. Rachel says, I'll list them plot holes for Rise of the Dark Spark. Number 1, why is Optimus in his FOC body? Why is Megatron in his FOC body? Number 2, the movie portion of Rise of the Dark Spark, is it Bayverse or not? Yeah, there's a couple more plot holes. Like, actually, there's a whole laundry list of plot holes, man. It is egregious. There's a couple of videos out there if you guys want to check them out. I think the Fire Brothers did one as well, talking about the plot holes for Rise of the Dark Spark and how, as a story, it does not fit, like, at all. Blue Coon says, considering our current state of wars with human military, G.I. Joe wouldn't be caught in the middle of a conflict with fans and real wars. It's kind of why they avoided doing that stuff for a long time, right? Yeah. Earthman Brick says, there was nothing epic about the G.I. Joe movies. They were, quote-unquote, safe and boring. If they made them super camp and cartoonish, like the Street Fighter live-action movie, it would have been more memorable. Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that. Rachel says, more Rise of the Dark Spark plot holes. Why is there now a G1 universe in the Cybertron games due to the movie portion of Rise of the Dark Spark no longer being aligned continuity, but Bayverse instead? Earthman Brick says, heck, they could have gone super dark with a live-action G.I. Joe flick. All they had to do was make it memorable and try something daring to keep the rekindle interest. You know what? I'll say this. What's the name of the original G.I. Joe? Like the 60s 12-inch doll, right? I know I'm gonna get some flack for calling him a doll, right? I get it. I know. I'm trolling. I know, Oracle from the other room. They're action figures, right? I forgot what's his name, right? Like, how cool would it be? Like, it's Joe. Like, it's not. Is it Joe? Is his name really Joe? But how cool would it be to have like an international spy movie with that one guy, and then at the end he starts up G.I. Joe, right? Like, and then like the sequel is like a real American hero or something. That would be dope. MCDJ, Wrath of Cobra, the newest game, had a 1-day pre-order only at GameStop. Crazy, dude. That's wild. Bluekin says Prince Adam and Eve were the first 2 people on Earth by the power of Grayskull. Now going there. Never mind. Rachel says, here's how you do a G.I. Joe movie. Hire Bobby Vala and Valaverse and hire him to do your Oh. Woo! I don't know, man. I don't know if that'd be such a good idea to hire Bobby Vala. The backlash for Bobby Vala being hired would be through the roof. I don't think people would see that movie just on principle because Bobby Vala would be involved. Blue Coon, did you see Transformers 1 yet input? I have not. Is it on streaming? Okay, Oracle just told me it's on streaming. Yeah. She said she added it to our list on what is it, Paramount? Yeah, on Paramount. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna give it a watch here sometime through Thanksgiving break and everything. I will have an update for you next week. Okay, I will officially see it sometime before next Wednesday. Rachel says, so I think we should get a Christopher Nolan Dark Knight style Transformers film. I don't know, man. I kind of over like the dark, gloomy kind of Transformers movie, like the Bayverse and stuff. Caldeo Studios, what's up? He says, behold the eternal glory of Jeet Fire. Rachel says, or we could sell the Transformer film rights to Eon and get Transformers DB5 Aston Martin with the Decepticons teaming up with certain bad cat stroking villain. Yo, okay. That'd be kind of dope. Keldeo with a G1 Primal Leak. Here's for a G1 cartoon Sentinel / U-Haul robot. U-Haul crossover. You know what, dude? If they do a U-Haul crossover, I want an old, like, 80s, 90s U-Haul. That old Toyota T100 pickup with a camper truck on the back and it's spray-painted U-Haul. That's the crossover with U-Haul that I want. Keldeo says, here's a big question. Who here knows of the Jeremino situation? You know the mouse from New Mouse City? I have no idea what you're talking about on that one, Keldeo. Rachel says, you sure you want that input as Hasbro confirmed Devastation is a Prime Wars prequel? Yeah, look, I do. Look, I want it. I want it as a game universe, not a Prime Wars prequel, because I feel like it being a Prime Wars prequel is a cop-out. I feel like Devastation 2 got canceled, and then they're like, oh, how do we fit this in? Oh, I know. Make it part of the Prime Wars trilogy. Keldeo says, IDW G1 1.0 was pretty much done, but IDW 2.0 is another story. That's what I thought, yeah. Blue Coon says, Beast Wars was going to have a season 4, travel in space and writers change, but actors stayed, but pretending characters have amnesia. He also says, oh, you know Fire Brothers? Cool. I'm one of their modders. Oh, dude, that's dope, man. Hell yeah. Keldeo says, here an easy answer for Rise of the Darkspark. It's a mess. I saw that the title screen music was just pulled from some like generic YouTube rights-free music channel. It's pretty bad. Rachel says in Ireland and UK it was Action Man. G.I. Joe? I thought G.I. Joe was Action Force. Rachel says, thought G.I. Joe was too American. The name G.I. Joe is too American. I could see that. Keldeo says, heck, the Align continuity just as much of a mess as Rise of the Darkspark, maybe even worse. Yeah. He also says, no, the G1 U-Haul robot is the placeholder name of Sentinel Prime in the G1 card. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Rachel says, question, Jesus becomes Hasbro's CEO. Could he save Hasbro? At this point, probably not. MC DJ says, I'm down for Pinsky Con and U-Haul bots. Robot moving war. Yes, dude. And the arc could be like Storage Wars HQ, right? Like, dude, and you got to go buy your boxes from the Nemesis. I love it. Blue Coon says, I like Germano Station cartoon because Brian Drummond as Germano and Trap Lori as Thea. Keldeo, oh, he breaks it down. Geronimo Stilston is the name of a news reporter's mouse. I got you. You know when you jump and say Geronimo? Yeah. Rachel says the 60s G.I. Joe was Action Man. Then there was a separate line called Action Force done by Palitoy. Okay. Then when Hasbro brought 80s G.I. Joe to the UK, it was Action Force. I got you. Okay. So before we go here, I figured that we would check out some TFW 2005, and we'll scroll through that. But you know, got to kill like 10, 15 minutes, talk about some new upcoming toys and stuff, right? But you know what? We're going to do that right after this commercial break.
Oh, man, I'm never going to get this thing to work.
At noon here on Channel 2. Why wait for Halloween?
Candyman.
For the fright of your life.
A woman died and they're leaving.
Candyman is the scariest villain since Silence of the Lambs. It spins a terrific web of intrigue and horror.
They ain't never gonna catch him.
Candyman. Wonderfully bizarre.
He's under the bed!
Candyman will scare you to death. Candyman, rated R, starts Friday at a theater near you.
Stop by aisle 5 for Clairol's Herbal Essences. It takes you where no shampoo is
Gone before, with all natural botanicals and organic herbs and pure mountain water. It will leave your hair looking beautiful.
Yes! Yes!
If you think that's great, try the body wash.
Clairol's Herbal Essences, a totally organic experience.
All right, guys, now that we're back from commercial break, I think Kel Dio says it all. He says, YouTube won't like that. Yeah. Oh, well. YouTube can deal with it, I guess. So let's take a look at we get the first look at Age of the Prime's Prima head. Looks like a really good head sculpt. Pictures are a little bit fuzzy, a little wonky, but it still looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. I've covered this figure a couple of times without the head. But it's basically an upside down car that we're looking at here. But yeah, I dig the head sculpt. I really want to see what it looks like in color. But yeah, not too much else to say about that. Let's go back. Let's go. Is that okay? I did go back. Let's see. There's something else. Age of the Fallen Prime behind the scenes. Mark Clonus posted all this stuff up on his Instagram page. And we get to see how big he is compared to Megatron here. He's going to be slightly bigger than that Siege Megatron mold. This is the Earthrise figure here, but he will be slightly bigger than that. It looks like he might be a little bit slightly wider and slightly taller, but not by much. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Except for, yeah, it's going to be bigger and really posable. And we get a 86 movie reference here with Frenzy, carrying Megatron or Megatron's blaster there. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it except for yeah, it looks like the Fallen. But yeah. Let's see. Standalone Transformers store in the UK opening images. We talked about that when they announced that. Transformers Unite Warriors Baldigus packaging and Legends manga Dark AI sketches. What is this? All right. Sketches. What? Okay. Oh, Dark AI. Okay. Yeah. Duh. Never mind. From RID. 2001. I got you. I don't know why. Oh, look at Dr. Wu, Evil Dragon, Gigastorm, a baby Gigastorm. Yo, sign me up for this. Look at this. It's so cute. Oh, man. It's adorable. Yeah. You sign me up for a Gigastorm. I will buy 37 of these. I don't know why 37. But this is adorable. Dude, I love it. And he even comes with a recolored Full Tilt, which the original Gigastorm did not come with. So that's really cool. Little companion piece for Gigastorm. Man, that's dope, dude. I think he looks adorable. It's so cute. There's something else right here. Age of the Primes, Voyager Armada Red Alert Robot Mode first look. Now, we talked about this. We saw his prototype in car mode. Now, to me, this looks really short and really stumpy. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a minute since I watched. It's been about like 3 years since I watched Armada. But in my mind's eye, Red Alert's torso was never that short. There's something off here. Yeah, he's definitely going to be a deluxe class. He looks really small. his arms look maybe a little too long. Yeah, it just looks kind of like short and stumpy to me. I think the bottom, like the chest, the arms and stuff, the legs, like everything looks okay. Like it looks good, I guess. But like it's just this middle torso, like stomach, abdomen area. It's just really short, man. Like, I don't know. Is he because I always see him being roughly Optimus Prime's height, not in combined mode, but maybe like a head shorter than Optimus or so. But not that short and not that short of a torso. Like he's got a chest and then a belly button and then a crotch and then legs and that's it. Like there is no stomach under his chest. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Let's get caught up on chat and see what you guys are talking about. Let's see. Princeton says, I like big butts and I cannot lie. That's what we call a leader. Keldeo says, neat sketches. He also says it's Galvatron's baby brother. Keldeo also says that could work for a legend scale collection. When you think about it, Gigastorm is smaller than Trypticon. Yeah, absolutely. Gigastorm is like Transformer size, right? Like he's nowhere near as big as Trypticon is. So yeah, you could totally squeeze Gigastorm in with your legend scale figures. And if you fudge it enough, possibly your chug scale too. He says, I was expecting that Armada Red Alert legs to be just the Skid's crankcase legs. I was wrong. Princess says, short and stumpy. That's what she said. Blue Coon says, well, animation model varies. And as Ultra Primus says, Red didn't skip chest day. That's fair. I mean, he does have like a whole front end of a truck just becoming a chest. Keldeo says, still waiting on Armada Cyclonus and Demolisher. Come on, Hasbro. Give us Unicron Trilogy, Scratch, and Grounder already. I would love to see somebody do a new Cyclonus and Demolisher. I really don't care who. I just really would love to see some updates to those characters. Yeah, definitely. Fun facts from, says Rachel, fun fact, John Cena is a Transformers fan. Yeah, that's kind of cool, man. But guys, we are at that hour. We're at that hour. I'm talking like I type. Damn it. We are at that hour mark. Don't know what else to say except for be good to yourself. Be good to each other, man. Happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, if you guys are going out Black Friday, be safe. Don't start no mobs. Don't get barricaded against no doors for some TVs or anything like that. And I might do a live stream on Monday for Cyber Monday, and we can just shop the internet together and just do like a nice little chill stream. Not really talking about news, not talking about serious stuff. We're just shopping and looking for bots and or G.I. Joes or Thundercats or, you know, whatever it is. But yeah, like I said, man, National Suicide Prevention Helplines down in the description below. I say this every single week. If you guys need it for any reason whatsoever, for yourself or anybody else, use it. Please use it. It's down there. Yeah, please use it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. As always, like I said, take care of yourself, take care of each other, man, and that's the most important thing. And I'll see you guys next video. And as always, say it with me now. Cut it out. Later, everybody.